and I've addressed big gatherings, but outside of India, today is positively one of the best programs that I have ever attended in my life. His Excellency, my dear friend, Federal Councillor Mr. Guy Parmelin, Secretary Helene Budlinger, President of SwissMe, Martin, the Ambassador of India to Switzerland, Mr. Mridul Kumar, Excellencies, former President, all the distinguished participants at the 18th Industry Day celebration of SwissMe, more particularly, the wonderful cohort of young boys and girls whom we just saw on stage, the apprentices, the future of Switzerland, who are in this room with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, or should I say, mesdames et messieurs, bonjour, guten tag, namaskar. I come to meet you with the aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians. Young men and women who dream as high as your towering Alps, who desire a better future for themselves and their children, who'd love to have a Swiss chocolate, as charming as it is, as tasty as we find it. And I come with an arm of friendship to meet with the innovators, the engineers, the talented industry men and women from Switzerland, from whom we in India learn a lot, from whom, from all of you, we hope to, in the future, do a lot of work. Friends, I bring with me a story of a country that in the last 30 years has grown from a $270 billion economy to a $4 trillion economy today, but which in the next 22 years, as we work towards celebrating 100 years of India's independence, aspires to grow from a $4 trillion economy to a 30, maybe $35 trillion economy. That's the largest ever economic opportunity that has ever presented itself in human history. A country with 1.4 billion young, talented dreamers. Our average age is only 28.4 years. For the next 30 years, India will continue to be a young country. This talent, this skill set, this desire for a better future is what drives India as the fastest growing large economy in the world today. We are a vibrant democracy where the rule of law prevails, where Swiss business persons will never ever be discriminated against. You always have justice. You will always have recourse
for any problem anybody in India may face. Democracy is our strength. And when we couple that democracy with the demographic dividend of a young India, when we aggregate the demand that this aspirational population, that this growing economy presents, when we look at the diversity across India, when we recognize that India is a dependable country, a trusted partner for all of you, and when we see before our eyes a decisive leadership, a government that is listening, a government that acts and acts fast, a government that's willing to change the way people work, the way people think, the mindsets of 1 billion people is very difficult to change. But we look at our people, our economic opportunity as not a challenge, but a very, very great force multiplier for the future. This democracy, this demographic dividend, this diversity, this demand, this dependability, and this decisive leadership is not just a 3D story, but 3D squared. And therefore, when I heard that this agreement between Switzerland and India was 16 years in the making, I thought I must set the context right. While it was initiated when you were the President, Excellency, in 2008, we saw a hiatus, a stop, a break, I think 12 years ago. It was only, and I would give full credit for that to my elder brother, Guy Parmelin. It was only when he initiated this dialogue, post-COVID, barely 3 years ago, and we started talking again. And with a person as polite, a thorough gentleman as Mr. Guy Parmelin, with a lady as perseverant as your secretary, Helene Budlinger, and I must acknowledge today, with a counselor as persuasive as Nick Gugger, who's in a way also an ambassador of Switzerland and India. There was no way this agreement could not have happened. And I believe a new era of partnership, of friendship, of togetherness between the 4 EFTA nations led by Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland with India is going to begin in October when the TIPA, of course, it is officially called a Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement. But as I said in the morning to our friends, the business friends from Switzerland, I look upon this as a trust and efficiency partnership agreement because it defines the trust that you have in India and we have in the abilities, in the efficiencies, in the power of innovation, in your engineering skills, in your ability to think big. I have studied the journey of Switzerland over the last several decades, the journey to become one of the richest countries in the world, a country with a per capita income of over 100,000 US dollars, an enviable story, but inspirational. And we draw a lot of inspiration from your journey. We believe that it is a very natural partnership because we don't compete with each other. We complement each other. There is nothing that I feel threatened from Swiss business or Swiss industry with. And I promise you, there's nothing that India will offer you that will in any way hurt any of your businesses. In fact, on the contrary, I suspect we can add huge value to the future of the members of SwissMe, to the business community across Switzerland. Now imagine you try to make a precision component of an aircraft or an automobile or a spacecraft with your costs in Switzerland and at the scale at which those costs will find you a market, and compare that to something you do in India, where you will get talented young men and women. Incidentally, we produce the highest number of STEM graduates anywhere in the world. India produces the highest number of STEM graduates every year. 43% of them are women. That talent, that skill, available at a decent value, coupled with the scale of opportunity. After all, 1.4 billion people consume a hell of a lot. And that scale, the skill, and the speed with which India is growing makes a very heady cocktail. And friends, when you become more competitive, when your products are more affordable, the world opens up for you. Whether it's Southeast Asia, whether it's Central Europe, whether it's Africa, Latin America, newer markets for you. When you produce in India and sell in Europe, sell in other developed nations, you can beat your competition. And therefore, this is an opportune moment to rededicate ourselves to growth, to bigger numbers, to look at a much bigger vision for your businesses. I particularly invite the SME sector of Switzerland, a sector which, largely family-owned, is in a cozy comfort zone. Pardon me for saying that. Many of you may never have visited India. And I think, Ambassador, we should seriously look at a tourism corridor between Switzerland and India too. I invite you as tourists, I invite you as business persons. Come and see how the country is changing. Many of you may have visited India as backpackers 20 or 30 years ago. I think Martin told me he last went there 5 years ago. 5 weeks ago, okay. But it's a great journey to see how the country has evolved in the last decade. It'll give you a confidence of the future that we aspire for. After all, if one was to look at the numbers, in the last 10 years, India has added about 80 new airports, growing from 74 commercial airports to 158 now. A new one is coming up in partnership with Zurich Airport. India's port capacity has doubled. Our national highways and expressways are today no less than a German autobahn. We've added 104 new inland waterways. Our power generation capacity has more than doubled. Our solar energy, the clean, renewable energy that we produce, has grown nearly 50 times. In terms of infrastructure and infrastructure-led growth, the government itself spends $125 billion every year on infrastructure investments, giving a multiplier impact to the India growth story. Of course, a massive effort towards inclusive growth. And we've just seen the World Bank of India come out with its latest statistics. Extreme poverty in India has reduced by 270 million people in the last 11 years, down to barely 5%, which we'll eliminate in the next year or two. Last 10 years have been a combination of welfare so that the last man at the bottom of the pyramid can get a better quality of life, a better future for their children. Consumption-led growth on the back of a growing economy, growing incomes, a growing middle class. Investment-led growth, given the massive investments in infrastructure. Growth in manufacturing, as well as growth in technology. India today stands ready and willing to open its arms and invite all of you to come and work in India, come and do business in India, leverage the many opportunities that this country of this size offers, experience a country coming out of the shadows and finding its rightful place in the comity of nations. A country which in the last 10 years grew from the 11th largest GDP in the world to now the 5th largest by 2025 end or early 26, the 4th largest GDP in the world. By 2027, the 3rd largest GDP in the world. Wishing to soar ahead, wishing to meet the big, hairy, audacious goals that our people have set for themselves. A country on the move, country full of opportunity, and towards that end, I think this trust, this efficiency partnership, the TIPA, is just the beginning. When we talk of $100 billion investment into the country, I believe it's an opportunity for you to leverage that large market and from there, the world market. Early movers get an advantage. And we stand ready to do whatever it takes to make your journey in India smoother, to facilitate your entry, to partner you, to handhold you. In fact, I've suggested we could even create a Swiss Enclave, an area dedicated for Swiss businesses. Possibly have a Swiss hotel there. Have a school, have a college, have a technical institute run there. We've already talking to one of your colleagues to set up a robust apprenticeship program similar to the one we celebrated earlier today. We would like to make you feel comfortable in India, feel at home. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I have come here with a personal invitation to each and every one of you and every member of SwissMe, every business person across the country, or for that matter, for every citizen of Switzerland. Come, discover India, experience incredible India. Come to explore the beauty of India, come to witness the transformation of India, come and plan your next future target, your growth plans, your profitability multipliers. They are all waiting for you in India. Friends, before I conclude, I just want to share how enjoyable it was in working with your government. I was seeing the film that was put up just when we came into this room. There was this young apprentice talking about his journey as he was boxing away. It totally reminded me of my experience with the Swiss negotiating team. Everywhere I go, I'm being blamed for being a tough negotiator. But the reality is very different, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm only not able to figure out whether while negotiating with me, they were doing the boxing, or
they already had some stress and they came after that like that apprentice and looked at boxing as the stress buster and used me as the punching bag. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Goyal. We proceed to a very, very brief Q&A session. The EFTA states, including Switzerland, are the first in Europe to conclude such a comprehensive free trade agreement with your country. Why did Switzerland and the EFTA states more broadly receive this kind of priority? What made this partnership stand out for your government? Please, have your water first.
Yeah, after that little bit of intense, did I get carried away? Maria, I think I'm really proud that the first agreement happened with Switzerland and your other three partners. And I really believe that programs like the apprenticeship program that SwissMe is famous for, the possibilities that I see with the SME sector in Switzerland, the precision engineering that we marvel Switzerland 4. There are so much potential in this agreement that we put in also our best effort that this should be the first agreement with the various agreements we are negotiating with European countries. Incidentally, subsequently, we finalized an agreement with the United Kingdom, which was announced last month. I believe now I have the North, I have the South. Center should not be very far away. And I think at the aggregate, working with Europe will help us in India learn from all of you. And I think this particular apprenticeship program is something which truly excites me a lot.
Let's talk briefly about the geopolitical changes that are happening. What is your view on these geopolitical changes?
You know, there are going to be challenges in everybody's life. We in India look at every challenge, every crisis as an opportunity. So I'm not really very concerned about what's happening in the world. I believe this will open up new vistas of opportunity for India. I'm looking at the way we can increase business across the world. We are having very robust discussions with the United States of America also, which I assume you are alluding to. With the 3 important agreements of Europe, hopefully done in the next month or 2, with our agreements with different countries of the Middle East and Australia, now with New Zealand soon, Peru and Chile negotiations are also progressing fast. India is today coming out of the shadows. And in this situation, any turbulence in the rest of the world will hurt India less than it will hurt the rest of the world. Because we have a big runway of growth ahead of us. We provide the opportunity that will help the entire world in their future plans. So, well, this geopolitical situation, to me, is only going to be a huge opportunity for India to leverage.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Goyal. We would now like We would now like to capture this very special moment. Therefore, I kindly invite Federal Councillor Parmelin and Martin Hirzel, President of SwissMe, to please join us on stage for a photo together.
I hope some Swiss companies.
Vielleicht geht es mit Applaus noch ein bisschen besser. Vielen Dank. We have a small gift for you, Minister Goyal, and also for you, Monsieur Parmelin. It is a sweet speciality from Bern. I'm afraid it's not chocolate, Minister Goyal, but we hope that you will enjoy this gift as a token of our appreciation. Thank you very much.